Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Joe and Joe Weather Show on this Wednesday night. What seems to be a slow moving week. Wednesday night, the 16th of June, 2021, brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware. Great place to get your hurricane supplies, be it if you need a generator, or maybe you need a new pump, or maybe you just need some safety cans to put gasoline in. Head over there because they got plenty. 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon. 631-756-1125 is the telephone number. That's West Babylon, New York on Long Island. And they have the best prices in town, better than the big box stores. And the website is omnitruevalue.com. Wholesale holiday lighting by Giannini, your complete holiday lighting specialist, meeting all your decorating needs. Maybe you want to do this as a business come Christmas time or add it to your current business, or you just want to get your home decorated. They're at 162 Ocean Avenue in Lindenhurst, New York. Also on Long Island, 631-957-5106. And the website is liholidaylighting.com. So here we are, the middle of June. We just got rid of Tropical Storm Bill that formed well off the North Carolina coast. Went extra tropical this morning, so it's all gone. A name crossed off the list. And now I guess attention starts to focus on the southwestern Gulf of Mexico, because it does look like something is going to come out of there. But Joe, from what I'm looking at in terms of the upper air, the conditions down there at all different levels of the atmosphere, and everything else that's going on, this is going to be one of those tropical systems that comes out of the Gulf that produces rain that when you look at it on the satellite, it doesn't quite look like a tropical system, but it'll get designated that anyhow. And it's going to probably shoot up to the Gulf Coast relatively quickly once it gets going.
Yes, and some are even alluding to the fact that if it holds together as some kind of a tropical cyclone, that it might be in the vicinity of the New York metropolitan area come late Monday night or early Tuesday. A track that would take it to the north and east, maybe up along the eastern seaboard, and possibly doused portions of the mid-Atlantic with some significant rainfall. But again, that's many days ahead of us.
I'm not one of those people at the moment.
Okay.
Just to be clear,
I would.
I mean, I'm not one of those.
I'm just.
I'm not one of those people who thinks that it's going to be. Look, if it does come up here, it's going to be remnants, and maybe there's an identifiable feature that you'll be able to follow along. But I don't. It's not. I don't think it's going to be anything more than that. If it were to happen.
No, but it would probably bring us some wet weather, and it probably would be if. Well, first of all, we're jumping way ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, I wasn't even going down that road. I didn't even want to go down that road.
I mean, we have a front coming in with maybe some showers and scattered storms on Saturday, and then we have another front that's going to be working its way toward us on Tuesday, and maybe, just maybe, if this system, if it does hold together in one way, shape, or form, probably will get whisked out to sea like a giant whisk broom, that cold front coming in and pushing it out. But, it makes for an interesting forecast for early next week if you want to go that far down the road.
All right. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to take care of this system first and see what's going on. First off, starting off with the satellite. We'll have an NHC update before this show is out. In fact, it should be coming out in the next 20 minutes. But you look on the satellite loop, you do see an increase in shower and thunderstorm activity, though. But already it's getting, as I said earlier, it already seems to be having a look that is not quite a well-structured, that's going to be develop into some sort of well-structured tropical cyclone. For one thing, the lowest pressures are down in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico, and there's not a whole lot going on in the western part of the Gulf of Mexico. There's a lot of showers and thunderstorms coming across the Yucatan Peninsula and shooting straight northward, and that's going to become part of all of this. But you're going to have to look down in the southwest Gulf, and at least so far, and no surprise, because nothing really is supposed to happen here until probably tomorrow, because the low center has to emerge from land and move out into the coastal waters. But again, I would, if I were to look for something that I thought was really going to get going, I would look for that convection that's in the central Gulf to be in the western Gulf, and not the way it is right now.
In other words, you're saying that you would prefer to see it more centralized over the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, as opposed to hugging the coast along the Texas coast.
No, no, no. The other way. No, what I'm saying is that that all that convection that's in the central and eastern Gulf of Mexico. Okay,
Right.
if this were going to
Right.
be if this were going to become a well-structured cyclone, I would I would prefer to be sitting here looking at a satellite loop where the western part of the Gulf of Mexico was loaded with all the showers and thunderstorms, and not the eastern part.
Okay. Okay. I get you now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. I've got a. In fact, I have a lovely close up on my screen right now of from the GO-16 imagery of this rather disorganized system, but eventually, I'm sure it'll come together. 70% chance over the next, what, 5 days, and 90% chance over 7 days that it's going to develop into something. It'll probably
No,
be Claudette long before 5 days.
right, 70 in 2 days and 90 in five.
All right, two
Which
and five.
it doesn't really have a whole lot of time, because by Friday night it's going to be up on the Louisiana coast. By the way,
Right.
if you look at the loop, there is a little bit of there's probably some kind of mid-level low up here somewhere, because the clouds are trying to turn in a cyclonic fashion. You see some of the lower clouds are going east west, and then north south in the southwest Gulf, and then you got all those clouds to the east that are running from south to north. But again, the center is going to wind up forming on the edge of all of this convection, and that's usually an indication that it's not going to be a well-structured cyclone. That said, this still is going to wind up being a fairly big rainmaker for the Gulf states. If we look at WPC's rainfall forecast, I mean, they have a very large area of 5 to 10 inch rainfall forecast over the next 7 days. So obviously, most of this is going to be, if not all of it, is going to be from the tropical system, from southeast Louisiana to the Florida Panhandle, and even into parts of western Georgia. And actually, they even knows the 3 inch line gets to about me in northeast Georgia. It is going to definitely be a solid rainmaker when it moves northward and it makes its landfall, which thinking probably sometime on Friday night. The other thing I was looking at in terms of the upper air, and I pulled up this is a 200 millibar map, so we're looking way up here, but it's a good level to look at when you're looking at tropical systems. And starting with tonight, there's moderate westerly shear up and down the whole western Gulf of Mexico. And what happens is that shear area starts to weaken during the day tomorrow, and you see it's just sort of nosing up there in the middle of the Gulf. There's some southwest winds in the western Gulf of Mexico. This is not really the most ideal setup for a strengthening tropical system. Now, bear in mind, there have been occasions where we've had tropical systems come out in this region at this time of year that have developed into full-fledged hurricanes. I just don't think this is going to be one of those instances. And the other thing is, I'm looking at this Friday morning where there's a low center south of New Orleans on the GFS. I know that the European is a little bit to the left of this, but there's a low there. And there's shear to its east. There's strong northwest shear in the eastern Gulf, and you've got some moderate southwest winds. It's just a very convoluted look. This thing is going to have to develop inside that little zone where upper air winds are going to be light, and it's got a lot of things. It's got a lot of issues here from that respect.
Yes, indeed. I'm just looking at some of the comments here on the chat board, and people have been talking about. I know you've been discussing the the tropics, Joe, but a lot of people on the chat board are talking about the extreme heat that's going on out west.
Right.
And
Well, we'll take a look at that.
it just
We'll take a look at that shortly. Um, the I'll bring the surface map up, and we can follow this along, and we'll just give it a moment to load. So this is tomorrow morning. Actually, tomorrow morning, the GFS is already showing some kind of low down around 22.2 and 93.4. And you see the isobars there. Again, very broad, pushing northward. There's multiple low centers here that show up on the GFS into Friday morning, and then you start to see all this rain, and that pushes up into the central Gulf states. Even though the low center itself, if the GFS is right on this run, is way to the left of where all the rain is. And then it comes inland. And of course, as you mentioned, there is a front. Probably be better if I switch this to the radar look. That's probably a better view here. All right, so this is Friday afternoon, and you see that area of rain that comes inland. I'll just have to give it a moment here for these maps to load. And that rain sort of spreads out across the Gulf states. Meanwhile, there's a front that approaches. Now, I'm looking at this new GFS, Joe. There's some kind, what is this? This is Saturday evening. So there is a front that approaches on Saturday. So maybe we get a shower or thunderstorm with that, although it's not a particularly bullish look for showers and storms here for Saturday. And in fact, it forms an east-west line in the Ohio Valley, running from St. Louis straight east to almost to Baltimore, a narrow east-west band there. And then the front goes by, and of course it sets up for a decent Father's Day. Now, here's where you've got this next upper trough that's swinging into the east that starts to pull that moisture up. But, it's so diffuse here. I mean, I can't even pick out a definable center at all with the rain that's coming out of the Gulf states. Most of it just moves off the Carolinas and Virginia coast and moves out. And then we have a strong cold front that's coming through on Tuesday, because guess what? There's another deep upper trough that's going to be swinging through here from southeastern Canada. I mean, that's the way things have been going. We keep getting these rather deep troughs that form in the eastern part of the United States, which is great for our weather because it allows me to wake up like I did this morning, by the way, with a temperature of 50, and it was gorgeous there. A low of 50, a high of 80, and dew points that hung around 50 all day.
Well, we had something similar up here. I mean, we had dew points that are mostly down in the mid and low 40s. But I want to talk about for Friday night and Saturday, Joe. Storm Prediction Center said predictability too low in terms of Saturday's convection. And they're saying that because they're not sure that with the warm front, there might be, Friday night into early Saturday, a couple of showers around. And they're concerned that shower threat might take away some from the possibility of stronger cells that may affect us later in the day, Saturday or Saturday night, that may, lead to possible severe weather. So rather than just simply, say, okay, the Northeast is going to have, slight or marginal chance of severe weather, they're holding off on that until they can get a better handle as to what may happen Friday night into early Saturday with any scattered showers. And you look at the Friday day 3 forecast, which I see you have up there, and look at that broad area of slight over the Ohio Valley. And you would think simply by sheer extrapolation that some of that might get into the Northeast, but and I would have thought that they might have outlined some part of the Northeast with some slight probability for Saturday, but they decided to hold off on that because, again, they're uncertain as to how much the shower activity, perhaps Friday night or early Saturday, may take away from that severe threat later on Saturday. So for the moment, they're holding off on it. But again, tomorrow is going to be day 3. Saturday is going to be day 3. So they're going to have to make a decision one way, shape, or form as to what they're going to go for in terms of, I'm sure we'll be in at least we'll be in general thunderstorm coverage. Whether or not we see marginal or whether or not we even see slight, I guess that'll be yet to be determined.
All right. Well, before we get there, we've got a marginal risk tonight along the South Carolina coast to northeast Florida. We've got a marginal risk from northern Missouri into northward into Minnesota. And then for tomorrow into Friday, the slight risk appears from Iowa to Illinois and southeastern Wisconsin. Marginal risk surrounding that. Nothing from Maine to south to the Georgia-Florida state line, except for a small area in the Outer Banks of North Carolina where they have a little mark there for general thunderstorms. And then for day 3, as you mentioned, this is for Friday into Saturday, the marginal risk cuts across New York State, central PA, northwestern Virginia, the slight risk from southeastern Illinois, straight east into western Pennsylvania. Yeah, this could be a situation, Joe, when you look at it, that if there's a warm frontal setup, the GFS kind of hints at that. There's a warm frontal setup Friday night because there's a couple of showers that develop across upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, down to Long Island. There's some showers in south central Pennsylvania, northern Virginia. There's a warm front that goes by. And then, what's going to be left for the cold front to work on? It does, you know what they may do? I'm just looking at this because of where the low is in eastern Canada and the upper trough that's coming through here for Saturday. That might generate some severe weather maybe up in New England and northern New England, which is what the GFS is indicating here.
Correct. In other words, it may be more or less like a pendulum. What you see in the Ohio Valley, instead of continuing straight east or even southeast, may actually veer up to the north. And Saturday, you may see the possibility of severe weather again over the Adirondacks, northern sections of Vermont, New Hampshire, and on up into Maine. So that's certainly a possibility for the start of the weekend. And then whatever we see on Saturday should be fairly well out of here and should set the stage for some nice weather for all the dads on Sunday for Father's Day.
Yeah, I believe so. I'm pulling up. I don't let the upper air load. I want to switch over to the new old radar that we have. We now have the new old radar, and where the push of dry air is so far south that it has put Florida in line for a lot of showers and thunderstorms. It's been raining there for the last 2 days, and today in central and south Florida, as you can see this evening on the radar, very busy here with showers and thunderstorms. We've got a whole bunch of special marine warnings in the yellow boxes that you see both on the East Coast and the West Coast. There's been quite a bit of shower and thunderstorm activity, and obviously, judging by what we saw on the satellite, you're not shocked here because it's all that tropical moisture that's shooting northward in the central and eastern Gulf and over Florida. And of course, in the meantime, it is pretty much bone dry except for some fair weather clouds. I don't know what is that's coming down from Michigan again, coming down from Lake Huron over Lake Erie, Lake Ontario. There's a little swirl of clouds that's dropping southeastward. There's nothing on the radar here, but there's just some kind of little trough there that's dropping southeastward. Not going to make any difference. All I think it probably does is maybe reinforce the dry air that we had today for tomorrow.
It might be, yeah. Today was an amazing day. Tomorrow, it's by the normal standards of things. Tomorrow's still going to be a sterling day weather-wise, just not quite as sterling as what we saw today. And incidentally, I'm also watching, and I don't know exactly what this is, but there's a big swath of clouds over in western Pennsylvania, western New York, and you would think that it'd be perfectly clear and dry or whatever.
Yeah, that's this.
But,
that's this thing over here. That's what I was saying. What is that?
Yeah,
Probably
I don't know.
Just some like little upper trough. Let me go back to the radar. There was nothing there when I looked before. Yeah, there's nothing there with it. The radar is absolutely quiet in all of the east. Yeah, it must be just some sort of little upper trough that's going by. Meanwhile, out in the west, of course, everybody was talking, as you said on the chat board, was talking about the heat. Even though the satellite does look like there's stuff blowing up back in parts of Colorado down into Arizona. It is yet to show up on the radar. We had a few scattered clusters of storms yesterday, late afternoon and evening out there. But today, yeah, the clouds seem to be there. But so far, I mean, there's a couple of specks here in parts of Colorado down into New Mexico and also in southern Utah and northern Arizona, probably producing all of about 5 raindrops. Let me see if I could pull up the hazards map. I could probably before 8 o'clock. It's 7:52. I should be able to load. Nope, that's the wrong one. I should be able to load. Now where's my hazards map? Oh, here it is. I should be able to load the high temperature map, and we can take a look at what's going on down there. So we'll just give it a moment as I'll put some dew points on there and maybe some relative humidity indicators. Come on, I'm checking boxes here. All right. Jesus. Let's put the counties on too, just for laughs. I'm just looking, before we swing over, I'm looking at some observations on Long Island where, for example, Farmingdale is 73 with a dew point of 41. Caldwell is 73 with a dew point of 39, Joe. 39.
39.
Upper
Wow.
30s and low 40s. They got relative humidity levels running between 25 and 35%. It's June, and it's not a huge shocker to see that this time of year. It would be a huge shocker to see it if we were in later July and August, but not in the moment. So let me switch this to the max temperatures, and we'll take a look. Sorry, just having a little bit of an issue here. Okay, max temperature. Let's see if it will be kind enough to load these said max temperatures, and it has. So lucky us. And now here they go. So Phoenix so far today, a 111, which happens to be their current temperature. 114 at Quartzsite, Arizona. Quartzsite, Arizona, 114 the high. They've dropped to 113. The dew point is 47, so that works out to a relative humidity of 11%. Bullhead City, Arizona. Usually that's one of those places.
One of my favorite towns.
Yeah, one of those places that usually shows up on the high temperature list here. 117, dew point 37, a relative humidity of 7%. Cottonwood Cove near Searchlight 13E is the high today, 126. 126, and I see there's also a 120 on the California side. So let's see, that is I-15 next to CMS in Baker. So I don't know. Okay, but all we know is it's on I-15. 120 was the high. 118, dew point 25, relative humidity 4%. And Las Vegas McCarran International Airport was 117 today, Joe. 117. 113 right now. 26 dew point, 5% relative humidity. So they are burning up down there in the Southwest.
I've been to Las Vegas, and the time I was in Las Vegas, there was a roaring wind for like 15 or 20 miles an hour. Felt like if you were walking into a 1,200 watt hair dryer. I mean, that could be hot out there. Wow.
That's a good way of putting it.
It was.
We don't often talk about Utah, so I just pulled up Salt Lake City is 97 with a dew point of 43, humidity 15%, a north wind at 8 miles an hour. Yeah, so I mean, and into Colorado, hundreds showing up. There's 100 in Fort Collins. Fort Collins, Loveland is 99 right now. They hit 100 today with a 40 dew point and 13% relative humidity. Greeley, Weld County to the east of there, 99. 102 was the high, 99 right now. Keensburg was 101, also down to 99. And this must be some mountaintop. Wilkerson Pass. Everybody go to Wilkerson Pass because it's 68 up there. And that is, by the way, 11,280 feet above sea level. So you gotta.
So let's see, the dry adiabat 3.5 degrees per 1,000 feet. So how high? 11,000 feet
11.
or thereabouts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they probably at least like 35 degrees cooler than sea level.
We'll bring out
at the summit.
We'll bring out the Price is Right yodeler. All right, so let's go through the upper air and see what's going on here, because the heat misers out there would love to get the ridge back into the eastern part of the United States, and I have to tell you, there's no sign of that happening anytime soon. Robert Russo hitting super chat tonight. Thank you, Robert. Most appreciated. Thank you so much for doing that. Okay, so here we go. I've already kind of jumped along here, so let me just roll back to Friday. There's a little bit of a cutoff low that's out at 40 and 65. Not really doing very much. That goes out to the east. But here comes the short wave for Saturday that swings across southeastern Canada and into upstate New York. There's a nice little tight upper low that goes by through upstate. But as you said earlier, if the warm front Friday night into Saturday morning stabilizes the atmosphere to a certain degree, there might not be much left for this thing to work on. Maybe up in New England, yeah, because that's where the strongest part of the trough is. That lifts out, and then here comes another deep trough into the that drops down from a very strong upper low in northern Hudson Bay. This is Monday afternoon, and that trough drops down the westerlies into the Gulf states again. That's impressive. The ridge in the west kind of shifts a little bit closer, more to the west coast than in the Rockies. So at least the heat ridge does push a little bit further to the west. And that trough here in the east, and this is going to swing a sharp trough here on Tuesday. So regardless of whether we get any of that tropical moisture, which, I look at this 500, and in terms of the timing, I would say that it really isn't going to get involved. But this trough is certainly going to be sharp enough to maybe produce some strong thunderstorms here next Tuesday, assuming that the models continue to stay on this. And then that lifts out, and then you still have this strong upper low in Hudson Bay for much of next week. But the base of that trough does start to pull up a little bit. Still some remnant westerlies in the eastern part of the state, U.S. late next week. And let's just see where it takes us in the long haul. I'm just looking here. You got this strong ridge out at 40 west building up to Greenland. There's another short wave that drops down from Canada into southeastern Canada around the weekend of the 26th, 27th. And there's just, another look at this, another trough. Although the ridge off the east coast does build back westward to an extent. So we'll see if that's real. And we do have a bit of a ridge that builds in for the first days of the month of July, if you assume that the long range of the GFS has got its marbles all in the right place. And we know when we go out into the long range that may not necessarily be. So the 12Z run today says after day 11 or 12, the trough in the east pulls out, and we get a bit of a ridge that builds just in time maybe for the 4th of July. So we'll see. I'm not overly confident here, considering what we're dealing with right now, which is deep troughs in the east and delightfully dry air.
Well, I hope this never leaves us. I mean, obviously we can't hold on to it, and fine air like this does not ferment like fine wine. Eventually, as we get into probably later Friday, and especially so Saturday, dew points will take a noticeable climb upward. And then we'll have to wait for, again, that front later on Saturday. But again, what happens on Friday night with that warm front? Does it stabilize the atmosphere with a few scattered showers? If it does, then we may get some rumbles of thunder here later Saturday, but nothing really to write home about. If we manage to stay dry Friday night and then ease into that warmer tropical airflow for Saturday, then, all bets are off for later Saturday and Saturday evening with that frontal passage. We may have to deal with some nasty weather for the first half of the upcoming weekend. But Father's Day right now, Joe, looks A-OK.
Hurricane Center just came out with their new update. They said that showers associated with broad low pressure over the Bay of Campeche and the adjacent land areas has become a little better organized since yesterday. The emphasis in my mind is on the word little. This system will move little tonight, and little, if any, development is expected during that time, obviously because it's over land. However, the low should begin to move northward on Thursday. A tropical depression is likely to form by late Thursday or on Friday when the low moves across the western Gulf. Air Force Reconnaissance Unit is scheduled to investigate this area on Thursday if necessary. And then regardless of development, it's all about heavy rain. 80% probability in the next 40 hours and a 90% probability over the next, well, it's basically over the next 72 hours that something's going to come out of this or not. So the probabilities are quite high that we're going to, at the very least, I think we'll get at least a depression out of it. Whether we get a tropical storm or not would depend on whether we get a well-defined center that you get some convection that can coalesce around it. I'm not 100% sure that that's going to happen, but again, given the upper air that we looked at, it wasn't anything to me that screamed tropical system. And by the way, I'm pulling up the NAM, which interestingly enough, actually is the furthest west of all the models. It takes the upper feature. I'll pull the surface up in a minute. It takes the upper feature inland near Houston and then runs it almost straight north into northeastern Texas. And you've got straight west winds from Kansas, and they go west-northwest, Joe, from Kansas to Kentucky to North Carolina. How in the name of God is something, if that goes that far west, there's no way that's coming up here.
No, it's obviously not.
All right.
It'll just run aground and just wash itself out, so to speak, over the central part of the nation. But yeah, you're right.
I just want to look at the surface here, because I did notice the NAM was earlier just actually trying to take something, a more well-defined center. It's pretty far to the left. It's way left of the GFS. I mean, it's east of Brownsville and Corpus Christi, and then comes ashore just west of Galveston, Houston. Gets down to about a 99 or a 98 low, so it would probably be, a mid-level tropical cyclone. And most of the rain, if it goes in that far left, most of the rain is going to wind up going to the left as well. So WPC doesn't seem to be accepting this, and we might as well pull up the HWRF, which probably makes it a Category 5 hurricane. But let's just take a look, just for just for laughs. I mean the HWRF. I'm running it backwards because I'm trying to get all these maps to load. It's got a very broad-looking low center that's out near 90 west. It's actually further east, even east of the GFS, and has the low coming in near New Orleans. But it never really does anything with it. It's a weak 07-08 low. Again, I think the big problem is the structure of the upper air here is not ideal for solid development. So I'm not impressed. Let's just put it that way. Joe is not impressed. This Joe, me,
and this Joe too. I mean, we really didn't think there would be much coming. I mean, it's just really too early. As Neil Frank told me a long time ago, who was the former head of the National Hurricane Center, June and July, they're slack months. I mean, you really want something to some action, you have to wait until August, September, and that seems to be the case.
Yep. All right, so here we are, 8:06 Eastern Time. So let's see what Mr. Briller has left for a Briller Jeopardy here. Hang on one second. And big hellos to his mom. Scott's mom is, dealing with...
Hope she's watching us, maybe.
Dealing with issues, so hurry up and get better. Get over to Home Depot and let them, do what they got to do to your knees and to your pelvis and get you back on your feet again. All right, so we're going to do a twist. He's got a twist here on TV show debuts. If you can get at least 8 correct out of within 3 years of the show debuts, you can pick either door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3. That Carol Merrill is now, doing her prize pointing.
Is my wife on the chat board? I think she is.
She is.
I was going to say I was going to say something to the effect like, can I just pick Carol Merrill? But that's.
I think not.
Sorry, dear. I did not mean it that way. Yes.
All right. I hope you ate already, because this way she can't, poison your food or something. Steve Lapointe hitting super chat tonight. Thank you so much, Stephen. And yes, folks, if you can hit the like button, that would be a good thing, and we appreciate those of you who have hit the like button. Thank you very much indeed.
Who was the one person who hit dislike?
No, there's the regular 2 people that every day to keep hitting it. I don't even want to, Joe. I don't even want to talk about them. They're not even worth. They aren't worth our time or energy. So just this has been going on for almost 4 months with those 2 characters. Okay, so here we go. Remember, you've got to get at least 8 correct, and you have to be within 3 years. Okay. The first one is F Troop.
F Troop, I think, was in 1967.
Which is within 3. 1965 is the correct answer. The next one is The Adventures of Superman.
That could be tricky.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to say 1952.
On the nose. 1952. The Phyllis Coates, I'm a Phyllis Coates, Lois Lane type of guy, and you're a Noel Neal. Not that I didn't like Noel Neal. Not that I didn't like her. I certainly did. But Phyllis Coates, the Superman episodes, actually, those years, those black and white Superman episodes with Phyllis Coates, a lot of those episodes were a bit on the dark side, and they got more campy as they went to the color ones later on.
Well, she was more of a tough as nails type woman, Phyllis Coates. She would talk back to the gangster or whoever it was who was holding her captive. Shut up, lady, or else you're gonna get it. And what if I don't shut up?
No.
Noel Nell was kind of like, Noel Nell was like, oh please, don't do that kind of thing.
Well, the one with Phyllis Coates that I always stands out with me was when the guy that strapped the explosives on him and took her out into the on the ledge, and kept saying no comment until the time limit is up, and when the guy comes in and he's all disarmed, she turns to him and she says, "Now it's my turn to blow up," and she slaps him right across the face, really, really hard. Okay,
that was Phyllis Coates.
That was Phyllis Coates. Okay, number 3. The next one is Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
Oh, 1964.
You're 3 for 3, so you got 3 right so far. Carol, get the cocktails ready. The next one is The Man from Uncle. UNCLE.
I think that was, I believe that was 1963.
1964. Very good. So 4 down, 4 to go. All right. The next one is The Avengers.
The Avengers. 1960. I'm going to say 66.
No, 1961. 1961.
61?
Yes.
61?
61.
Boy.
Okay.
And that was with Diana Rigg, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
and she just passed away, I think, about a year or so ago.
Yes.
Next is, now you should get the next 2. I Dream of Jeannie.
I Dream of Jeannie, I think, was 1964.
65.
65.
65. Right. Okay. Maud.
Well, Maud was a spinoff from All in the Family. I think that was 1972.
On the nose. Okay, so now you've gotten that's the eighth one. So you've gotten 7 out of 8. You have to get one of the final two in order to be able to pick one of the three doors. So
Okay.
the next, so we have Dobie Gillis.
Dobie Gillis. Wow. Dobie. 1950. I'm going to say 59.
That's it. 59. You got it. And Mr. Ed.
Hello, Wilbur.
Yes. A
Um,
horse is a horse, of course, of course.
of course. 1960. I'll say. I'll say 61. 1961.
1961 is the correct answer. So now you get to pick door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3.
I'm going to choose door number 3, Monty.
Number 3. So
What do I get?
behind door number 2, you would have won $10,000. Okay.
Wow.
So that
Monty's cookie jar.
that leaves door number 1 or door number 3. You've chose number 3. So let's take a look at what's behind door number 1. And that is a case of minute rice. Or if you were a Wacky Package fan, minute lice. And
Right.
but you took door number 3, and that means you win a day trip to any total solar eclipse site for April of 2024.
Oh, lovely. No, that's Scott's way of trying to get me to start an expedition, so to speak. Let's see. Here's a good one. How about this? If you drink this soup, you'll get your lip torn.
Oh God! Right, lip torn tea.
How about this one, Joe? Six up. You hate it, it hates you.
Yes.
Or here, the breakfast of chumps.
Weekies.
Wiki.
I always like. I don't even think they make it anymore. That was Duz detergent, DUZ.
That's
So
DUZ.
right,
Yeah.
but and the wacky package for it was doesn't do nothing laundry detergent approved. Right, approved by beatniks everywhere. Gadzuka, yeah, exactly.
Gadzuka.
Oh, good.
I know
Lord.
your teacher. And finally, the last one tonight. JLo.
JLo. This was our generation. Okay. This was our generation. We had wacky packages. Okay. Among other things.
All right.
All right. Okay, so I guess that's it. We'll end it there tonight. So you and I back tomorrow night at the same bat time, 7:30 Eastern.
Yes, and the chairman coming on saying he was late, taking care of mom. She can't walk without a walker. And thanks to Christina and others for asking, waiting on ortho appointment, tremendous pain. I also want to mention that Christina Pedia lost an uncle. So not a very happy night tonight on the chat board.
So sorry to hear that.
We do hope better days are coming. We hope for everybody.
Well, positivity.
Yes.
Waves of positivity to everybody that's watching the show tonight. All right, so we'll be back tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern time. Of course, we'll have the latest goings on of whatever is or isn't going to happen in the Western Gulf of Mexico. Our weather continues to be absolutely gorgeous. So what's so funny, Minnehaha?
My wife on the chat board said, "Folks, aren't you glad you stayed till the end?"
Yes. Oh, God. Yeah.
Behind every great man, there's a woman.
Okay.
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 I'm leaving it.
Leave
I'm
it there.
leaving
You've already hung yourself out to dry. Just leave it there. All right, so everybody,
Exactly.
thanks for being here. The super chat hits tonight from Robert Russo and Steve Lapointe. Thank you so much for your generosity. Most appreciated as always. And we will see you tomorrow. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Good night, everybody.